is not new to the body. In fact, the body voted to adopt it in 2014. However, the objectives of it, which is basically to have Congress look at the citizenship of Virgin Islanders, which has existed from the purchase of the territory from the Kingdom of Denmark in 1917, has remained unchanged. And though we are born U.S. citizens by virtue of Title VIII of the United States Code, we do not participate fully in the affairs of the country by participating in state elections. Now, we need your help because, as we have seen in the resolutions, you are recognized as the voice of the state legislatures, and so you are our voice as well. And you should have an interest in this issue because this issue makes the United States one of the last remaining colonial powers into the 21st century. Because with regard to the mandates of the United Nations, we have yet to be fully included in the affairs of the country, to be in free association with the United States or in free association with some other state. Virgin Islanders have played their part, and for the 100 years that we have been a part of this country, we have been patriotic Americans. We have served in every conflict that the United States has been in, from World War I, coming up to the Vietnam War, to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And we have died. Our members, our citizens have died in numbers per capita that exceed every other jurisdiction. We acknowledge the responsibilities of being a part of this country. And it's the same way that we have acknowledged the responsibilities of being a part of this body. We are active participants in the NCSL. We have come to support provisions and resolutions that have been before the NCSL, even in cases where we have no real benefit, as in the Marketplace Fairness Act, which doesn't affect us because we have no sales tax in the Virgin Islands. We are unlike other territories. If you consider our closest neighbor, which is Puerto Rico, we are dwarfed by Puerto Rico. They have almost 4 million people, which makes them, they're in a position where they exceed the population of several states, one, and they have already indicated in a plebiscite that they would like to move towards statehood. We are different to American Samoa. Unlike American Samoa, we are born United States citizens, where that is not the case in American Samoa. And if you want to compare the two citizenships, you can look at Title VIII, United States Code Section 1406, which applies to the Virgin Islands, and Title VIII, U.S. Code Section 1408, which applies to American Samoa. Guam, which resembles us closest as a sister territory, is more than 24 hours away from us, sits in the Pacific, and basically has a different reality with regard to the increased military presence in Guam. We believe that the treatment of Virgin Islanders with regard to our citizenship is also of concern to United States citizens who live in other parts of the country. Because essentially it means that you are free to come and live in the Virgin Islands, as it's a place where the U.S. flag flows high. It's a place where the Constitution of the United States applies, or at least applies to the extent that Congress decides that it applies. But if you move to the Virgin Islands and establish residency there, then you can't participate in federal elections either. And so this should be a concern that there are parts of this country under this flag where you, just like us, could not fully exercise the rights of citizenship. And the contradiction is also illustrated by the fact that we can move to the United States, and we have no infirmity in our citizenship when we move here. We are also entitled to vote and to participate fully in this country. Yesterday, when I went to the registration desk, I'll just close on this. For a minute there, the young lady looked up the registration and couldn't find it, and she turned to another person. And I was sure that she was going to ask the question, is it under the international? But she didn't. She was just asking a question about payment. And we're accustomed to that because we get the questions. Do we spend U.S. currency there? Yes, we accept it. Do you need a passport to get there? No. Is it international? No. And so we believe that this resolution is one step closer to getting more people in the United States to know more about the Virgin Islands and its history, to know about the proud tradition of Virgin Islands citizenship. In fact, when we have voted in our most recent status referendum, which goes back to the 1980s, we voted to remain a part of the United States. It's a small step for you in moving towards more information about the territory, but it is a great step for us and for our citizens who would want to actively participate in the affairs of this country. I thank you for adopting the resolution previously and for considering it today. And I'm free to answer any questions that you may have.